Good afternoon and welcome to our final ACA series webinar. Session 6 is on ACA Connect. I'm Casey Hope, the Director of Marketing and Communications, and want to thank you for joining us throughout this series. Please note that we are recording this webinar and we will send the slide deck and the recording to all attendees following our conclusion today. Also, we will have the open Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions at any time, please submit them into the questions panel and we will be sure to address them at the end of the webinar. So today I'm joined by our ACA Sales Specialist Extraordinaire, Tom Neal, who has been with me throughout this journey through the ACA series. And we also have a special guest today, Crystal Dowell. Crystal is the Director of our ACA division at Medcom Benefit Solutions. So I'd like to welcome you both, and it's certainly great to have you as part of the team today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, as we get started today in our final ACA series webinar, we have an exciting introduction to our new ACA technology platform, ACA Connect. We'll give you a brief look at the, why do we need this? And then dive headfirst into all of the outstanding features ACA Connect brings to brokers and to your clients' employers alike. Rounding it out, we'll finish up with a highlight on our full service solution that will save work and save stress and thousands in potential penalties. And speaking of those thousands in penalties, you've heard Michelle Barkey, who's typically with Tom and I on these presentations. You've heard her mention multiple times during the series about penalties, the risk, the common errors that carry significant fines, and the increased focus from the IRS on collecting this quote unquote free money. We know from hearing Michelle's presentations that after the Tax Inspector General's report last year that was pretty harsh, pretty critical to the IRS, that they have been stepping up their penalty enforcement. We have been seeing a lot of employer shared responsibility penalty letters. We have been seeing a lot of failure to file and failure to furnish penalty letters. And Medcom is definitely, we were just talking about this yesterday, we've definitely seen that and have our penalty appeal support team is really hard at work right now, facing some of those letters and that increased drive from IRS to get collecting that money. So just giving you here a real world look at what the failure to file and failure to furnish penalties look like. These numbers are associated with the filing to the IRS and furnishing to employers. And if there was some kind of mix up in doing that, not getting them to them on time, the information was not correct. And this penalty shown here, the $56,280 and $56,000, which totals the $112,280, is based on 200 employees. So when the IRS assesses penalties, they will most always look at the number of W-2s from an employer. I know that Michelle's talked about these penalties before and the potential damage they can cause, but we really wanted to show you these real world examples and take a look at a few of our most recent penalty appeal cases here at Medcom Benefit Solutions. So taking a look at what we've worked with recently, I mean, we have a range here from the lower 20,000s all the way up to more than 400,000 in penalties. Medcom typically represents small to mid-range companies for our penalty appeal support, but these numbers are anything but small for a lot of companies, especially after the year that we've been through with COVID and everything that we've had to go through staffing and working from home and rebuilding our businesses. Thankfully, in all but one of these cases, we were able to reduce the penalty to $0, and in the other one, it was just a small penalty that we reduced it down to. But it's not always the case. It's best, of course, to eliminate the risk of penalties before they are incurred. Employers must ensure accurate, thorough, and timely completion of IRS requirements or be prepared to face this level of monetary judgment. Luckily, you and your employers are not alone. You are not in this all by yourself. Medcom does have what brokers and employers need to survive each ACA reporting season without risk, without worry, without stress or financial loss. As Tom would say, and you've heard him say, Medcom is the best defense for your good offense. That's who we are, and that's where we come into the picture. Of course, you know, if you've been with us through the session, none of this is breaking news to you guys, as we have discussed with brokers regularly. But we do have a completely new way of sharing, tracking, and discussing our process with you and your clients. So with that being said, and having covered that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Tom Neal so he can tell us a little bit more about our solution. Tom?
Thank you so much, Casey. And I want to tell everyone out there, thank you for being with us today and throughout this series. The whole idea behind this series, and with everything else we do, is we want to provide you all the tools, all the information you need so that we can help you stand out in the industry. It is our job to help you garner more market share, so that's where our focus is. And today, you guys, because of you being with us and spending your time with us, you get to be the first group to see this new web-based system we have, the ACA Connect. If you look at your screen now, you'll see the actual log-on page. Your clients and yourselves will be provided the address. I would highly suggest you save it in your search engine browser. This is going to be a great central hub for you for working with Medcom on ACA. Before we go through this, the first thing I need to tell you guys, and I think one of the most important things, our service is not changing. The same white glove, full service solution that we have offered, we are still offering. Nothing is changing. What we're talking about today is an enhancement. I mean, many times you'll see a website come out and it kind of replaces some of these. This is to make things better, to give more service. And so I want to kind of go through. We're going to look at this at about the mountaintop or 10,000 foot level. This is not a true demo of the site itself, but we want to kind of show you some screens and go over what some of the features and tools that are contained within. Kind of a high level look at features. You're going to be able to send and receive data files securely. You can do that now. We do have the drag and drop portal. You're still going to have it. It's going to be the same download feature. The key here is now it's centrally located to make it easier to find for that so that you can do that or your clients can do that. You're going to be able to view employers, the plans they have, premiums, employee and dependent data. You're going to be able to view the current step in the process and percentage of completion. I think this one right here is one of the most important. You're going to be able to look at every employer that's assigned to you and know right where they are in the process, what stage they're at. And I'm sure you guys know, if you've been dealing with your clients on ACA in the past, as it gets closer and closer to the deadlines, I am sure they're contacting you trying to find out where they are in the process. You're going to be able to look at it immediately. You're going to be able to review 1094 and 1095. You'll be able to drill down to those in specific categories in reports and forms so that it makes it easier for you to use. And then finally, you're going to be able to generate PDF and Excel reports. You'll be able to do those both. And the beauty of this is you're not requesting it from someone. You're going to be able to get it when you want it. I know some of you meet with clients during the day, and in the late afternoon or night, you kind of want to do some of this yourself. You will now have that ability without having to wait to talk to an account manager. You're going to be able to request updates on various fields. And just to be key on that, and I'll probably mention it several times, this is a two-step process. If you see something that needs to be updated, changed, edited, whatever, you will be able to easily send a request. We're doing this two-step to allow the account manager to do it, just to be as a safety feature. ACA is so data-driven, the accuracy has to be perfect. We don't want any inadvertent edits or accidents to happen that could cause something to be a problem. So we are going to go through that two-step method, but it'll be very easy for you to submit those requests. You're going to be able to schedule a call with a dedicated account manager. There's literally going to be a button on this site that you click on. You'll be able to see the account manager's calendar and make that appointment. You don't have to wait for a callback or play the back and forth game to see who's available and who's not. You'll be able to set it up yourself. You're going to receive secure notifications. You'll be able to see which ones you've read and which not, but even more important, if you need to, you can look back at some of the older ones. You're also going to gain access to timely and readily available reference materials. We're going to have a data vault that will have all the ACA reference material we have. It will also have links to our YouTube channel with our tutorials. These are great. Say you're working over the weekend and you wanted to work on one of your clients and you're like, I don't remember that part of the ACA. Boom, you'll go to this site and you'll be able to look it up on your time. So that kind of gives an overview of some of the features we have. Now we're going to have two portals. There'll be one for you, the broker, and there'll be one for the employer. And so first we want to look at the broker side. All right, here's some of the tools that you'll have. You'll be able to view the current process step for each client. You're going to know where they're at. I mean, at a glance, it'll make it so easy for you to know where the process is for your clients. You're going to be able to easily locate past due clients. These aren't past due by payment, although they may be, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about here is that you could have clients that we are waiting on information, or we're waiting for them to review the 1095Cs and give us the go-ahead. From our research and looking back at prior years, we see one of the biggest delays is where we're waiting on information. You are now going to be able to look and see which of your clients that we're waiting on, so that you may be able to help or give a nudge so that that gets done and the process keeps moving. You're going to be able to receive reminders and notifications on deadlines. You'll see in a minute when I show the landing page on the website, but we'll have countdown clocks for things like the IRS deadlines. You're going to be able to review and download 1094 and 95 forms. You're going to view your client's data in a way that's easier to read and understand. And I'll go more into that later, but you'll see what I mean. You're going to be able to easily access flagged employees. When we're working, we find a question on an employee and we need someone to take a look at it, whether it's you or the employer. We'll be able to flag those, and you'll be able to pull a report, so the employer, to see which ones we need to look at it, so that there's that constant communication and make sure things get done on time and right. You'll be able to download data files and specific reports per category as needed and at the time needed. You'll be able to have the ability to request edits to 1094 and 1095 forms through the system. Again, it'll be that two-step check. You'll submit the request, it will go to the account manager, and they will make the change. You'll have calendar access to schedule calls. Like I mentioned a minute ago, you'll simply click that button and be able to make that appointment with the account manager. You're going to be able to review the status of the filing to the IRS and easily locate the receipt. As we've talked about many times, that receipt's very important. If you have a client that's going to be audited, you need that information. Here's a great location so you'll know exactly where to find it. And just for you, this won't be for the employers, but you'll be able to request proposals. You're in the site, you're working on one client, and then you realize they need another product. There's a button so that you can request a proposal. So again, this is set up to be a central location to make it easier for you. All right, now you can look. This is what the landing page looks like when you sign in. And what I want to do, and hopefully I'm not too confusing to Casey so she can direct the mouse around so you see what I'm talking about. I just kind of want to point out some of the features. At the top, you'll see a navy blue row, goes all the way across left to right. On that row at the very left, you'll see that there is a series of dashes or lines. That is the important key. That's your toolbar. That's where you can be able to look at, any tools, pull a report, anything that you need to do, you'll be able to locate it there. Right next to that, you'll see there's an icon that's two little stick figures. In this instant, we don't have an employer name because this is a sample, but when you're looking at it, you'll see the employer's name right there. You'll be able to down click right there and pick which employer. So all the employers assigned to you will show up. The next thing you'll see is a filing year. If we've done multiple years for your client, you'll be able to look at any year that you need to. So if you need to go back or they need to go back, it's right there. Now on the far side of this same bar, you'll see looks like a little telephone icon. That icon is where I was talking about where you can set up a meeting. When you go into that specific employer, you have that information and you click on that phone, you're looking at that account manager's calendar so that you can set up that appointment. And then finally, to the far right, you see right there, that bell is where your notifications will be housed. And it'll let you know how many of them that you haven't read yet. But again, that's another place where you can go back and look at previous notifications in case you need to refer to it. Below that, you'll see a line that says important dates. This is where we're going to set up the countdown clocks. We're going to have the one for the IRS where you have to mail the 1095Cs to the employees. We'll have a countdown clock for that. We'll have the one for where you need it to submit it to the IRS. And even when the IRS, if and when they do make an exception and extend their date for filing to the IRS, we will update it here. Also, again, this will just be for brokers. When we get towards the end of the third quarter, beginning of fourth, and we know what our capacity deadline, and what I mean by that is when we reach a point where we know we can't take any more requests and still guarantee to get it done on time, we will set a date. This last year it was November 15th. But once we know it, we will also have that countdown clock here so you know when that date's coming. Now below those countdown clocks, you'll see several squares. The first one on the left at the top, it says past due clients. Again, that's the one not past due for payment, Could be, but that's not what we're looking at. This is past due where we're waiting on them, the client or yourselves, to do something so we can proceed. So right here, you can see that this one has 4 that needs some attention. The next button to the right is to request proposals. Again, that's what I was talking about, where you need to request a proposal. This will only be on your dashboard, but you can do it right here. The next one over, review marks. This is where we're talking about where there needs to be attention paid to a change or a request that you made to have something updated. You'll be able to look right here and see what requests are out there. And then next to that on the right is messages. You can direct message the account manager, and they can, you too. And so you'll see right here if you have any messages. And again, there'll be a depository, so if you need to go back and look at one, they're right here. Obviously, you can still email from your email system, but this is inside this system. It's secure, and you can go ahead and not have to take those extra steps. On the row below, on the far left, you see where it says ACA clients, all EINs, and ACA clients, main EIN only. This is just a quick dashboard so you can see how many of your clients are with us for ACA. The bottom number are going to be your main, so that's going to be the actual number. So in this case, there's 5 clients we're working on for this broker. Now the 8 means that a couple of those, or one, have more than one EIN. So again, it's a snapshot to let you know where you're at with us. The next 2 boxes you see there, the blue, and then I guess it's a darker blue, that's going to show you, the first one's going to be clients where we've mailed the 1095 form. So you can see immediately if we've mailed them out yet. You'll be able to see the number of clients we've done that for. The same with the one next to it, except for this is where they're filed with the IRS. So again, at a glance, you can see how many we've done. Now below this, I think, is where the really cool stuff is. And unfortunately, we can't scroll down, but I can at least explain it to you. You'll see that navy blue where it says current process steps, and then below that it says employer, process step, and number of days. This is where you're going to have that snapshot and easy display to know where your clients are in the process. Your employers that are assigned to you will show up there, and they will show where they are in the process and how many days. So you're going to know at a glance where your clients are in the process. And again, as we get nearer and nearer to those deadlines, I guarantee that's going to be an important point for you. All right, and now I want to show you what the dashboard looks like for employers. So they'll have that same login and password area that you saw at the very beginning, but when they do, we know it's an employer, and so they'll go to this other site. Here are the tools that they have. They'll be able to view total enrolled waived employees. Again, a snapshot so they know exactly where they stand. They'll be able to sort by filing year. If we've done multiple years, they can look back at any of those years. Again, they'll have that telephone button so they can set up appointments with a dedicated account manager. They can also view their employees and kind of drill down. They can look separate by COBRA employees, union employees, full-time or part-time employees, again, to make it easy for them to really dig into their own information. They'll be able to review the process steps and see where we're at in the process. They can send the account manager direct messages through the system. Again, it's secure, so they're already in our secure system, so sending those messages go straight to the account manager. And then that last one, they can review the most recent hire date, termination date. And that's going to be a snapshot on the dashboard. And the importance there is employers are constantly sending us updates. They can look at this and know if we're sitting on the same page. If they're looking and they know they sent information that has a new hire date, but our dashboard is showing an old, they immediately know that there's an issue there and they need to look into it. So it gives them a quick check where they're at. All right, here is their dashboard. Similar, but a little different. So again, at the top, it's the same bar that you have on your broker sites, the same buttons, the drill down so they can drill down into their information. Now the 2 stick figures in yours where it has the different employers, what they have here, if they have multiple EINs, this is where they can drill down into each EIN, excuse me. They also have what year they're looking at. And again, the icon for both setting up a meeting and notifications on the right. We will have both of the IRS deadline countdown clocks. They're not going to have our capacity, that's for you guys, but they will have these 2 clocks so they know at a glance when those things are, the deadlines are looming. Below that, they have a few different icons than you guys have. The first one is process step. This is going to show them where they are in the process. In this example, you can see that the 1094 and 95s have been filed and accepted with some errors. So there's a potential edit that need to be worked on, and they and the account manager are probably already looking into it. But again, take one look, 5 seconds, you already know where the process is. The next one over is the most recent hire date or termination date. And again, that's what I was talking about. You'll be able to look at a glance and know where we at and make sure we are matched up together on updates. Again, the review marks, just like on the broker site so they can review where some attention needs to be focused and where we need to focus attention. And then messages, in this case, you see that there's 9 messages and all of them red, but still they're deposited there if they need to go back and look at them. The next row down gives them a snapshot on full-time employees receiving forms and part-time, so they know that 4 are receiving forms. And again, and this is a simplistic one with only a small number, but if you have a large number, it lets them know exactly where we're at on. The one to the right of that is the total enrolled employees and total waived employees. Again, a quick snapshot of where they stand. And then the last 2 we talked about a minute ago, COBRA and retiree and union employees. They can see how many we show for them on that site. Now below, they have a little bit different than what you saw with the statuses. They're actually looking in at their employees, and they can see at a glance the number of full-time employees by month. There are some other graphs that they'll get as they scroll through that, but we just wanted, again, to give you kind of a snapshot of what their site looks like. All right, what I want to do now is I have a couple pages. All 3 of the pages I'm about to show you, you have access and the employer has access to. The first one we're showing is employer information. This is going to show the information we have on the employer themselves. The EIN, their address, the contact name, all that information. But if you look at the top in that navy blue or royal blue, and excuse me, I'm a little bit colorblind, you'll see that little pencil icon again. Again, this is where you can submit edits. Maybe they have a new contact. Maybe the address has changed. Whatever needs to be done, that's where you would submit a change. On the right, you're seeing the ALE information. Are they an ALE all months, or are they a client that only got to that point or have gone below that point? You'll be able to look right here at a glance. And again, and for brokers, you can see this screen for all of the employers assigned to you. All right, this is list of plans. Again, for brokers, you'll be able to drill into your employer and then go to this. For employers, they can go straight to this, but this shows the plans that they have affiliated with their company. Under on the left-hand side, you see the list of plans, and we have New York and Philly and Plan 1. Again, the little pencil icon to the right of each one, if there needs to be an update, correction, edit, that's where you would submit it. To the right, what we're doing is we're actually looking at the New York and Philly plan. It gives all the information, and down below they can scroll that tells them what the premiums, what dates. Again, gives them that general plan information in case they need a place to refer to it. And again, when they become comfortable with the site, it's a quick look. Instead of going back to the insurance vendor or wherever they need, it's right here. All right, and then this one is list of employees. I think this one's is a really great one. And where you do here is where you're going to see a list of the employees for that employer. And you're able to sort. If you see that second blue bar there, you see will receive forms, yes or no. You can sort by that, so you would see. In this example, we only have 1 employee to make it easy to look at, but it would show all the employees. And again, to the right of the employee's name, there is a pencil icon in case anything needs to be updated. On the right, we're seeing that John Doe's record. We can look at the information. We can look at the hire information, the status, the coverage, and the payroll. And you'll see those tabs at the top of that section. What I think is really neat, as you scroll down and you look at the bottom, you'll see the actual codes for each month for this particular employee. What's really cool is that we can't show it here on the site, but when you're actually in the site, when you hold your cursor over those codes, say, for example, in January, it says offers of coverage, and it shows 1E, and then for applicable section 4980, it says 2H. You will be able to hold your cursor over that, and a pop-up will tell you what that code is. You may know codes, you can go to the data vault and pull a list of codes and their explanation, but it's just too easy to hold the cursor over and know immediately what that code is. So again, I think that's really helpful. All right, you could also pull a lot of different reports from this site, both you and the employer. You can pull a 1094 or a 1095 forms report to see all of them. E-file data, this is the actual CVS formatted file that we send to the IRS. This is the formatting they require. I'll be very honest, it is not pretty, it is not easy to work with, it's not fun to look at, but it is what the IRS requires. Right below that though, you see the data template. That's the one where we're gonna be in a more clear, and I kind of teased it earlier, an easily understandable format so it can be used. It's an Excel file, you can drill down to it, and it makes more sense, and it's much easier to work with. We have to have the CVS file because that is what the IRS requires. Below that, you can pull a report to see what employees the forms were mailed to. The next one down are who is not receiving a form. You can pull a report showing all the plans for a particular employer. You can also pull a report of all the employers you have assigned to you. The last two, the flags and the market reports, those are the ones I was talking about where either we have submitted a request for some further information or correction on a particular employee, or that you have requested to have something updated and changed. Those two reports will pull up and show you exactly what has been requested. And again, so the key here, and I mentioned it briefly, but we're trying to bring all of our ACA Connect and all the functionality to one site. So you save it onto your internet search engine. You save your login and password most likely, but don't tell me I'm not listening. But you have it right there, and everything is at your fingertips to make it much easier to work with us on that. We have a full service solution, but we want to make it easier every way we can. Kind of recap the features and stuff that we've talked about. Again, right at the top, track current process step, know where your clients are on any given day. View and review data and forms per EIN. You can drill down that way. Get detailed code assistance from the 1095C. Easy access to review those flagged employee records to see what needs to be updated or corrected. Request specific form edits through the portal. That what we talked about, you'll submit the request and the account manager will take care of it for you. You can download all the data files and reports as needed for any year. So if you need to go back to a previous year, if we did the reporting, it's there. Helpful code combination charts, templates, and tutorials. Again, that data vault that you have access to when you sign in, you can pull all of that information. Direct online messaging. You can send a message that is secure directly to the account manager, and they can do the same back to you. Calendar appointment, same. Click that button, you can set that meeting up yourself. You don't have to wait for others. You have the countdown clocks, the notification you'll get through the system. Here's a good one, online approval for mailing e-filing. As part of our process, when we create those 1095Cs, we ask the employer, and if you're working with them and yourselves, to review both the cheat sheet we put into that download spot and the 1095Cs to let us know if you agree with what we've done so that we can move forward. It's the same system, but now it's centrally located here, so you always know where you can find it. You can review the filing status, immediately know where they're at. And you can request proposals. Again, that's not going to be for the employers, that's for you, but if you ever need to get a proposal, you have a link right there to do it. So again, we're trying to make this easier for you. This slide talks about the most important part of this this website, our service, and that's the account managers. They are experts. They do this day in and day out all year long, and they handle it. And they also handle this ACA Connect website. And so when your client signs up with this, part of that kickoff call is going to be to teach them how to use the site and get them set up. And just so you know, you will also be more than welcome to attend that so that you can get set up. However, if you currently have clients with us that we're doing the ACA reporting, don't worry, we are going to be starting a process. We're going to reach out to you to set up some training for you so that you get a level of comfort from using this system. So again, it's the experts behind the scenes that make or break this type of product, and we have them. And to kind of give you a brief, again, overview of our product, and we talked about what a great product it is, and now we have this, but the product itself, again, I mentioned it, the strategic planning, that the account manager is going to be assigned, you and the client are going to have their direct contact information, both you'll have their number and their email, but you'll also have it right through the system. They're going to set up that strategic planning call, going to go over the process, going to talk about the specifics for your client, and talk about the ACA Connect so that they're comfortable with all that. Data management, nothing has changed. At the end of the day, don't forget, we're easy. You'll be able to upload, the employer will be able to upload. It can be from multiple sources. As long as it is live data, no PDFs that we can access, we will take it. Your account manager has a dedicated team of ACA data technicians. They can move that information around into the format we need to do the service. So again, easy. Once we get that data, we're going to run it through our proprietary system, do an analysis, look for anything that looks unusual. But again, human expert eyes are also going to do that review. That's the key. And we're going to make those validations, make any request to you if we see something out of line, go through. We want to make sure that all that information is correct. As they used to say in the computer business, garbage in, garbage out. We don't want it. So we want to make sure this is correct. While we're doing that, we're going to send out a model notice, blank 1095C with some explanations what each box is for. This is great for your employers that are first time reporting. Their employees don't really know what this form they're getting. The employer can email this out to everybody in the company. Now they know what it is when they receive it. It'll alleviate a lot of those questions. All right, once we're done with our validation, picking the right codes, picking the right safe harbor, we're going to create those 1095Cs in a PDF format. We're going to place them back in that secure portal inside ACA Connect. And we're going to notify both you and the employer. We need you guys to review both the cheat sheet telling you what we did and why we did it, and the forms. End of the day, the employer is responsible for doing this filing, no matter who does it for them. So we want both of you to understand what we've done, why we did it, and agree with us. Once that's done, we're going to print and mail those forms, making sure that everyone that was required to get one does. And then once that's done, we're going to e-file those forms through the IRS proprietary system called AIRS. As we mentioned in that sample above, it had said it had been filed correctly, but with errors, we're going to continue working on that till it's done correctly. That kind of brings us to the next slide. We have our whole ACA product portfolio. We've talked about employee reporting, but we also have the FTE tracking, the full-time equivalent tracking. That's for those clients you have that have lots of variable seasonal hour employees, restaurants, service industry, farms. Just from my experience, when they have those types of employees, 9 times out of 10, when there's a problem with the IRS, this is the problem. It's very important. It's very complex. Make sure your clients have, if they're not doing it with us, they're doing it with someone. So this is taken care of. We are certainly happy to have it, but it's imperative to be done. Next is penalty appeal score. We're over $50 million in proposed penalties that we've been able to mitigate. So we're happy to help. I will tell you, we are very busy. I am getting new letters in every day. Casey mentioned some big ones earlier. I got one the other day, won't mention any names, but it's 1.4 million. So they can be ruinous. We're happy to help. We also can do ACA backfiling. Again, that'll be in this system. I showed you earlier, there's multiple years you can look at. We are happy to help your clients with backfiling, so we can do that too. And then finally, consulting and strategic evaluations. If you've got a client that kind of needs a coach, someone to look through their difficult questions and be there for them as they go through, that is certainly something we can talk about and set up. And so again, the key is experts. We want to be the experts on the products we sell. We want to be able to do that for you, to give you that competitive edge so that you can go out and garner more of the market. That's our goal. And so we also have our experts in CDHP, COBRA, and premium billing, HIPAA privacy and security solutions, and our health and welfare compliance and actuarial solutions. So again, our idea, our goal is to help you. All right, at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Casey so we can answer your questions. Casey mentioned earlier, we have Crystal Dow, who's the director of our ACA division. She's online with us, and she's going to help us with the questions. Go ahead, Casey.
Thank you so much, Tom. An excellent job going through this platform. It is really cool, and I love seeing those screenshots just to kind of get a visual of what everyone's going to have access to and how things are going to look. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And we do welcome Crystal to the question and answer panel. Michelle Barkey's not with us today, so if we do run into any of those legal questions that Michelle typically provides her expertise for, we'll of course always share those. So don't hesitate to enter any questions into the questions panel at this time, and then we will address those with Tom and Crystal here before we end this webinar today. One thing I want to do while you guys are thinking about your questions and submitting those is to talk about last week, I believe it was, we had a blog that was published that was throwback to our ACA Test Your Knowledge. So those 2 webinars that Michelle presented and then Tom and I presented in the past month, where we tested your ACA knowledge and we asked you some of those pretty complex ACA questions. We turned that into a blog and a survey. And for those that participated, you were entered to win a pair of Apple Power Beats. And I promised that we would announce the winner during this final webinar. So I do want to say thank you to everyone who completed the survey. It was excellent turnout. And right or wrong, it didn't matter. Everyone was entered to win just because of your participation and your trust in Medcom Benefit Solutions. And we are excited to announce that the winner of the Power Beats by Apple is Shelly Miller. And Shelly, we will reach out to you and get in contact with you about your information so that we can get that prize to you. But once again, Thank you so much for everyone who read our blog and participated in the survey. And just to let you guys all know, stay connected with us via social media. We are on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook, and we post a blog every single Thursday. And we tease you about it earlier in the week so you know what's coming up. This week, we are going to publish a blog on the COVID timeline for employee benefits. So everything that's happened from the beginning of last year up to now and how that has affected our employee benefits. And we'll be talking about that Thursday at medcombenefits.com/blog. Now, to the question section of the webinar. We do have a couple of questions here. I think they're going to be easily addressable by Crystal. Crystal, can you give us a timeline of when there will be a rollout of ACA Connect? When can brokers and employers expect to see this?
Sure. Thank you, Tom and Casey, and thank you all for joining us today. ACA Connect's rollout is July 1st is the initial phase. We are going to do a soft release for ACA Connect, and we'll proceed in phases depending on where your client is in the process currently. So depending on the phase of where your client currently is, they may be receiving ACA Connect logins from their dedicated account manager within the next week or two, or if you're a little further along in the line, it could be the next month. So it's starting this week. We are going to start the soft release, and the dedicated account manager will be contacting you and your client with the link to ACA Connect, as well as your username and login, as well as conduct training. So we will be scheduling training for each of you and your clients to ensure that everyone understands the functionality of ACA Connect before we complete the rollout process.
Thank you, Crystal. And I think you pretty much answered that second question there. Just to clarify, though, that if you are a current client of Medcom, you don't have to do anything. We will contact you. Is that correct?
That is correct, Casey. Yes, the dedicated account manager will be contacting you shortly with those credentials that you need to access ACA Connect, along with training.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Tom, what can you tell us for those people who are not current clients of Medcom and are needing some help with upcoming ACA filing and reporting for 2021?
Great
How would they
question.
go about getting that service?
Great question. We certainly can help, and I believe you'll show my email address, contact information. Please reach out to me. I am more than happy to assist you with that, with any of the ACA products in our portfolio. If you have another product or another issue and you're not sure where to go, you can also contact me and I'll get you to the right person. But we certainly are taking on new cases now. This is a prime time to do that and get them in place and make sure they have a great solution in place so they have that great defense and offense.
Excellent. Thank you so much. At this time, we don't have any other questions, but I will let everyone know who's on the webinar. If you have any questions after this is over, as always, please reach out to us. We are available to you at any time, and we'll get back with you as soon as possible. So you can reach out to Tom Neal, who has been with us through the series, or if you have a question about your ACA solutions and you are a current Medcom client, reach out to that dedicated account manager. Our ACA team is incredibly talented and very skilled in ACA. And even though it's incredibly complicated, they are on top of all of that information and are on the line and ready to help at any time. So I do want to thank you guys for sticking with us through these 3 months that we've been together presenting on ACA, our solutions, our services, and now ACA Connect. And we will be sending out the slide deck and the recording to all attendees later today or early in the morning. Special thank you, even though Michelle couldn't be here today, to Michelle Barkey, and of course to Tom Neal and Crystal Dowell for being with us and for helping us out with all of these webinars and presentations. We certainly appreciate your help as well.
And to you, Casey, thank you for your help.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you everyone for attending today. We hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and be sure to check out our blog this Thursday and connect with us on social media. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone.